I'm Laura Easley, and today we're talking with Denise Pope, Senior Lecturer at Stanford Graduate School of Education and co-founder of Challenge Success, about questions we've received through Stanford Graduate School of Education during this time of learning at home with COVID-19. These first topic we're going to explore are questions about managing your expectations from your child's school. Denise, I'm wondering, we've gotten a lot of questions around the school wanting us to spend 2 or 3 hours doing work every day, but the work they're sending taking at least 6. Or we've gotten questions around children having to master 4 or 5 different apps. How should parents draw boundaries on this?
That's a great question. So as a parent, you are the one who knows your child best, and you know what they can handle during this time. We have people in all different situations. We've got parents who are working outside the home, working inside the home, trying to do meetings, trying to homeschool at the same time. You've got kids with different needs. So as a parent, you have to decide what is too much. And if it's not working, if you have tears every day, if it's a battle, you need to communicate this with the school. Particularly if the school said they should only be doing 2 to 3 hours and it's taking double that time, they have no way of knowing that unless you write a very respectful email back to the teacher and explain this is what's going on in your house. Chances are you're not alone. Chances are there are many people who have those same struggles, and the school needs to hear from you, and you have to communicate it respectfully in a way that they'll get back to you. What they will probably say is, do what you can, or stop after 2 to 3 hours, or whatever it is. I think the managing multiple apps, it can be a challenge, particularly for kids who are young, particularly for kids with special needs. And that too needs to be communicated, that there's too many different apps. We haven't been able to master all of those. Maybe the school, you can suggest that the school tell you to focus on 1 or 2 right now for doing that kind of learning. So the most important point is to communicate with the school. Don't be afraid to communicate with the school. They need to hear from you. They haven't done this before. We're in new territory, and we need to be partners in our kids' education.
Thank you for that. That positive, respectful communication is so important. Another question we've heard a lot is, how much time should a child be doing schoolwork at home? They might phrase it as learning from home, though I know one of the things we've said at Challenge Success is that you're learning all the time. So how much time should a child be doing schoolwork at home? Is it realistic for it to be the same amount as time that they're in school each day? And is this answer different depending on what age they are?
Great question. So again, you know what's best for your child in terms of what they can handle right now. If your child is very anxious, if they're worried about a relative in the hospital, that might be time to write to the teacher and say, hey, not a whole lot is getting done right now. If it's a typical day, as typical as it could be during COVID-19, you again should go with what the school is suggesting. Many schools are suggesting that the kids do a little bit of work, take a break, maybe have recess, do a little bit more, maybe stop and have lunch. And so you learn in chunks, kind of like as if you were in school going through the different periods. Other schools are requiring kids to be online from 9 to 3. And ideally then they don't have homework on top of that because that's a really, really long day. So the sort of rule of thumb here is to chunk the work, to make it work for your kid. It does depend on the age. Older kids obviously can hold attention longer than younger kids. Elementary school kids should not have hours and hours and hours of school to do. But try to honor what the school is asking, communicate with them if it's too much. And it should not be typically the same amount as they would do in school in person, mostly because school has recess and playtime and 5-minute passing period and lunch. And so don't just take those hours and make it an equivalent.
Thank you for that. And so honoring what your child is able to do and being really, really aware of what their limitations are right now is really important. The last question that we've gotten a lot is, parents are getting lists and lists of all of these links of possible educational activities, and parents are asking us, how can we get something that's prioritized, that tells us out of all of these links, which is the best for our kids? What do you think is the answer for parents that are just overwhelmed with lists of educational activities?
I'm getting lists and links of activities too, so I can imagine how overwhelming it is. In a time like this, what I would say is for you to really go with what you know, right? The standards that have been around for a while, our trusted sources, PBS Kids, Khan Academy, Scholastic, the Discovery Channel, Common Sense Media has some nice resources. Those are tried and true, real experts who have been around for a while. It doesn't mean that there aren't great links leading to other resources. But if you're worried about quality, I would stick with the tried and true. I also want to point out that museums, zoos, there are many people who are putting their resources online and making educational activities for kids. And if that's the case, you can follow your kid's interest and really go that route as you choose those resources. If you're choosing resources above and beyond what the school is sending you, I just want you to be aware that that might be too much for your child at this time. We do want them to take time for play, for free, unstructured fun, for family time, for downtime, for non-screen time. So really do watch that balance as you're searching for good resources for your kids.
Thank you so much. For this and lots of other videos with tips on what to do during COVID-19, please check out challengesuccess.org.